I know it just can't be me, but right now, honestly, the world feels like this is the squeeze. This is most definitely the squeeze, or what I call the sink or swim period, because right now I feel like between me trying to figure out numerous things as far as finances, mental health, grad school itself, oh my gosh, y'all, grad school will honestly test your ability to be an adult 110% full, okay? And right now, I feel like I am truly trying to balance between my wants in life, like happiness, peace, the desire to travel, long distance relationships, and all, between my actual needs as far as things that I need to be getting done, like schoolwork, debt, just actual figuring out my next steps in life as a whole. And what I can say is, oftentimes when the anxiety has been hitting lately, I found myself turning away from my friends and my family, just because I feel like I need to focus more on handling what's important. Yet a lot of times those things that we are actually trying to put on the back burner are actually the things that we need to focus on the most. Reason saying this is, I've actually noticed in one of my classes, my abnormal psychology class, they had us pick a book. I'm gonna call it a book because I can't actually think of the name of it right now, because, bro, I'm not gonna hold you. I read books, but the actual genre of it, 9 times out of 10, I actually don't know what I'm reading, bro. But this book specifically for my abnormal psych was called Manic, and it was actually a book about a girl who was battling her bipolar disorders. Rather than it being something like a Alice in Wonderland type storybook, it was actually a memoir about her life and dealing with this disease, I'm gonna call it, or this diagnosis. Bro, listen, you knew what I meant. But crazy enough, it wasn't until a couple of nights ago, or even just the previous day following me recording this, where I actually realized a lot about myself while reading this book. Reason I say that is because when I first started reading this book for my class, I felt myself somehow getting anxious, okay? I was getting anxious trying to read this book, and I could see that in ways this book was triggering, but I couldn't tell why. I was like, y'all, why is this random book that my class made me select is giving me so much anxiety? And I came to the realization, after trying to really focus on balancing so much in my life, the reason why this book was giving me that anxiety is because I was seeing so much in myself within the book, as far as her when she was trying to control her intrusive thoughts, whether it be a impulse buy, whether it be her trying to contact her ex, whether it be her knowing that she deserves better. So many things involving just her life and her health as a whole, yet she couldn't control it. The book itself was more so just showing how, although she had common sense at times, when she lost control of herself, she went on what she called these hyper manic phases, where she honestly just let her subconscious take control. And the main theme behind each chapter that I was realizing at the end was, regardless of whatever her hypermanic state had taken her through, at the end of the day, all of it served the purpose to show her that it was for a reason, you know? So one of the biggest things I've noticed within the book and each of those chapters, which pertains to myself, was that, shawty girl, on the other end of a psychotic break lies peace, meaning throughout all those anxiety-filled, manic, just periods of yourself where your brain is really just going crazy and you feel like you're losing a grip on life, crazy enough, as soon as you reach that peak breaking point, like as soon as you hit that point and go over the other end, that's when you'll find the most peace. I found myself today, actually, or the time of this recording, at the gym, and the entire day, the entire days I was doing things like trying to contact the IRS. I was trying to find roommates for grad school. I was trying to write scholarships. I was trying to just make sure I actually did a proper workout, even though I didn't want to be there at the gym, and then make sure I got home at a decent time so I could do more work. But crazy enough, as I was actually reaching that overwhelming point while I was sitting at the gym, between my reps, I actually looked onto the basketball court where they had a youth league volleyball game happening. And I don't even think it was an actual volleyball game now that I'm talking about it, but I think it was just youth volleyball practice. And on the side, I saw what looked like possibly a 6-year-old black girl playing with the volleyball. But rather than actually hitting the volleyball like she's supposed to, she was over there basically shooting the volleyball like a basketball. And I'm looking at her like, what are you doing? Like, little one, you're not playing with that ball correctly in any way. And you're not even paying attention to the lesson at hand. But I couldn't stop smiling at her for some reason. And I actually took that time to actually sit back and observe how she was operating. And I came to the realization that, you know what? She is what I low-key wish I had again. As far as that innocence of my childhood, as far as that carefree state of knowing what I'm supposed to be doing, but actually doing something that is bringing me happiness. And in a way, I was so proud of her. This random little girl that I had no idea who she was actually giving me a sense of peace just to see her in her own space playing with this volleyball. From there on, I started listening to different music in my playlist. Rather than it being something on some hard workout music, something that would make me active and get going, I started listening to more mellow music and observing everybody interacting in the gym around me. And a sense of peace washed over me. It was in that time where my anxiety had reached its peak point, and I felt like I was honestly on the verge of a break, that something in the universe allowed me to finally hit that point of relax, be peaceful, just be calm and be in the moment. And now I'm sitting over here like a dork in the gym, just smiling and wanting to just show the world so much love. Like, I promise you, if I knew somebody in the gym at that time, I would have honestly just went up to them and just gave them a hug. I would have just checked on them. I had this sense of, let me share this happiness with the world. But instead, I decided to just take notes and record a podcast for later. So this is my later thoughts on that. It's really crazy to me, though, how I said I would have given somebody in the gym a hug, though, because the only person that I actually enjoy mindlessly showing affection to, though, is a significant other. And I don't know, currently right now in my dating life, there's been somebody who's been catching my attention, but they do live a good little distance away. Yet something about them living that far away is honestly a great thing for this little time period that I'm in right now. Reason being is because I know once I have my significant other, I want to be up under them so heavily, so heavily. I want to be showing them tons of affection. Once I see that we're actually in something heavy and you've taken the time to even outward express to the world and claim me that I'm yours, I want to spoil you. Oh my gosh, I want to spoil you so much. But I think right now, with them being so far away, I have kind of taken the time to really just sit back in my own bubble and, I guess in a way, enjoy this period of solitude. I had to ask one of my friends, does it actually count as solitude when I find somebody interesting or somebody has my attention right now? And they said that technically it does count as solitude because, shawty, you're still single and you're able to entertain whomever you please. But I actually don't feel a need in a way to entertain anybody right now or anybody else right now. This person is giving me just enough entertainment, is what I'm going to call it for now, where I don't feel a need to actually go hunting for something else, yet not enough to have me distracted from what I need to be focused on. And I like that. Shout out to those who are actually able to do a long distance relationship, because anybody who is actually able to successfully complete or get through one, it shows a whole lot of mental resilience as far as the temptations that are out there, as far as going against your own natural desires and putting your heart through hoops for another individual that you probably just met on a whim. I can say with my own dating life, I have majority of the time done long distance dating. Reason being is because whomever catches my attention, I like weirdos. And I say weirdos not on some you're into some weird like real creep stuff. No, not that. But I call them weirdos because they're not the norm. There's something about their character, whether it's their looks, personality, style, taste in whatever it is that catches my attention at the time. It stands out. Like, I love the ones that stand out in the crowd. And also I love when you're visually appealing. Oh my gosh, something about, and if somebody was to really look back at my exes from the time that I actually started caring about myself, not those ones from high school. If I dated you prior to college, you do not count. I don't know what was going on before that time, sweetie. We were lost in the sauce. But anybody that I dated following my freshman year of college, they have been some very handsome young men. Like, oh my gosh, my friend called all my exes handsome Squidwards. Like, why that description for them? But that's okay, because I'm gonna take it as a compliment. He just said they're male model resemblances, or they have very defined features. And I just like that. Like, you just look good. Something about you is pleasing to the eyes, and then your vibe is more touching to my soul. So I love it. But a lot of times the people that are actually next door to me are the ones where something about them just doesn't hit. Like, yes, their face could be, scoring them a couple points, but something about their personality does not hit for me. And I'm just like, this is terrible. But long distance relationships have been that thing I've always been a part of, because I enjoy the wait. I love the anticipation. There is nothing about another human being that I need. Do I want? Yes, of course. But is there anything that I actually feel like that I need from another human being? No. And the idea of waiting for something honestly makes it that much better to me. So, prime example was long distance. My love languages is touch and quality time. Sometimes when we become so addicted to somebody, we actually spend so much time under them, whether it be just sitting around in their face in complete silence, going grocery shopping with them, or even just, just stopping by because they're your next door neighbor. Yet, I like being able to take these periods when I don't actually live next door to my person, because at that time, then I feel like when I see you, I'm all in your face, baby. I'm in your face, I'm smiling, I want to touch you, and everything about your presence just seems amplified, and I love it. But I feel like, I don't know why, I don't even say I feel like, I really cannot answer why I show my significant other so much affection, yet I cannot show others around me that much affection. And I really do think it's because, our childhood has conditioned us for our life. Yet something about a significant other brings other parts of us out that we have yet to explore. Growing up, I felt like I was not that person where I felt like I had all my needs met. Yet, at some point, I felt like I kind of developed a Miss Independent persona. Meaning, if I ask once, cool. If I have to ask again, I'm only asking twice, bro. I'm only going to ask twice before I honestly go, don't worry about it, I'm going to handle it. And something about having to play such a masculine role my entire life, I feel like from there on, I kind of developed that whole entire, I'm going to be independent. And rough around the edges. I feel like that has something to do with psychology. So if any of my psych majors out there or current psychologists have any advice on that, just let me know. But yeah, I feel like from there on, having to fend for myself in so many ways has honestly developed my character and made me kind of rough around the edges. But that's cool, because I don't know. I'm gonna let that one trail off and y'all kind of fill it in for me.